Hi friends, Erin here with another weekly garden stroll. These are highly unedited videos. We basically walk around the garden and we just talk like you're a friend walking around the garden with me. It is early Sunday morning, well, early-ish Sunday morning when I am filming this. It was a big day in the garden yesterday. I actually went to bed at 9:30 last night. I can't tell you how rare that is. I usually go to bed well into the wee, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, because I'm usually up editing videos and stuff. Sometimes I fall asleep in the middle there somewhere a little bit, but so my body is not trained to sleep that long, so I was up quite early this morning, but it was felt good to get some sleep. These are long days in the garden. And I'm actually looking at one of the jobs that I pushed off doing last weekend to get some bigger projects done. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I might have missed the window on that. It's moving a plant, and I'm looking at those plants now, and they're huge. Well, that's a problem for another video. Let's go walk around. So hopefully you guys saw the video I put up yesterday with where we were planting all the trees and shrubs, almost all of them. We only have 2 things left from Isley that I have to get in the ground, one of which will happen today for sure, maybe both. I have come, you see my poor sad empty container sitting here. I have come to the conclusion that spring containers are not happening this year. I mean, here we are, beginning of May. It has been so unseasonably cool here. Everything is so behind. There was no way I was gonna plant containers because it was just too cold for stuff here. And now I think the weather's turning a little bit, but you know, we are a few weeks away from summer containers being planted, so I'm not going to bother with spring containers. In fact, spring plants aren't even out anymore, which is funny because there was just like no opportunity to even plant them. So I've actually still not done any cleanup on this garden, proper cleanup, but I did want to show you a few things. Remember the poppy experiment? I guess we'll do a real video on this too, but you guys always get people who watch these videos, you guys always get the Scoobies of what's happening. So poppies were planted a couple of times this year. Here's some coming up here. I like to show you what these things look like because they're hard to identify a little bit. But I put down this bamboo cane and then planted poppy seeds around it. You can see those are poppy seeds coming up there. So my March, so that was a strictly only March sowing. And so the March sowing worked fine. So, you know, vindication there a little bit. I've been avoiding, I don't know if you guys even noticed, but I've been avoiding showing the Seven Suns tree in the past few garden strolls because it had been planted by that point, but I hadn't gotten the video out on it. So that video did go out on Wednesday as well. It's starting to leaf out here. I will feel a lot better when I see this whole thing leaf out, just because it's a big tree, and a big transplant like that, that's tough on a tree. The hostas are starting to come up in here a little bit. I bet you the hostas have a bit of a rough year. That was a lot of aggression on the hostas. One thing I wanted to mention, are we light enough here? Do we need to lighten you up a little bit? Where are we at light-wise? Okay. One thing I want to mention is somebody mentioned in the video yesterday. They said, I can't believe you didn't plant bigger evergreens in this screening hedge between your neighbors. I answered their question or their comment in that video, but I'm sure plenty of you are wondering that too. So 2 things. One, if you recall, the arborvitaes that were here were 55, 60 feet tall. That's the whole reason we wanted to do this, was to get the tall trees out of here, because our house was, this is south facing here, was so dark inside. This garden was about to become a full shade garden, and our house was so depressingly dark inside, and I am not a person who can live in that scenario. I need light. I mean, light is like, I just cannot be a happy person in a dark house. So that was the main thing that led to that. 2, there are actually 5 trees in here that will get quite big. This hemlock right here will get enormous at some point. These 3 columnar Norway spruces will get 60 feet tall. I mean, there's That's a Norway spruce right there, which is, what is that, 80 feet tall, 100 feet tall? That's a Norway spruces love it here. So those will get very tall. Stay fairly skinny though, or they're supposed to. And then down here we have a Swiss stone pine, which will get 30 feet tall probably. None of those things will happen probably while we are in this house, either because we wouldn't live in it anymore or because we're dead. So maybe I would say these columnar spruces will probably get that big. But the point was, we didn't want big things shading this. Now, the other thing to remember is that cottage right there was not there when this was planted. That happened as part of the neighbor's construction project. So when we planned out this garden, that cottage wasn't there. So yes, we look at it. It doesn't bother us, you guys. None of this. I don't mind. We have lovely neighbors, and I don't mind. It's not like they live on this side of their house. If you have a house that's on the lake, you don't live on the non-lake side of your house. So none of that bothers me. I get that that wouldn't be everyone's, that wouldn't necessarily be everyone's first choice. But you know, this will fill in very nicely to provide the screening. We actually wanted screening low when we planted this. That was our goal, was screening low, because we don't want to see the cars that are going to be parked over here, which are going to be rare. They have a beautiful big garage. But when they have parties and stuff, there's going to be cars parked here. These are actually going to be parking spots over here. So, you know, that's what we were trying to screen from. So anyway, that's that. Just a note here on this fabulous tree, which I talk about semi-regularly, but this is this Chamaecyparis soft serve. I believe it was I think it's also known as Dow Whiting, which is maybe the person who discovered it. I don't know. But you know, when it's in the Proven Winners line, it's called soft serve. I am so impressed by these trees. They are looking so good. They're doing so well. And probably in a video this week, I'll talk about where potentially more like that could end up. The garden right now is full of daffodil foliage and leaves and a little bit of weeds. And the Virginia bluebells are just starting to open up. This gets very pretty. Now, like, you don't notice this the rest of the year because they just go away. As soon as I'm done with these, you know, once they've bloomed themselves out and I need to get in here, I just cut them off. They don't care. They come back just fine. Still haven't cut back a lot of stuff. I'm sure the critters are happy about that. The golden curls willows, which have overwintered outside in these pots, are both starting to leaf out. I love these in these pots. Love them so much. I am so happy with these as a centerpiece in these pots. Actually, I've liked every iteration of these two pots. So this started with, there were 2 years with pagoda dogwoods in them, 2 years with white spire multi-trunk birch trees in them, and now the golden curls willow. And every time I plant one, I think it was my favorite. But right now I'm going to say these are actually my favorite of all those. And also obviously very easy care. I am trying to avoid showing you something, to be honest. Let's walk over here. Sometimes I do like to save things for the videos. Okay. Why does cardboard never go as far as you think it's going to go? So all of this grass needs to come out over here. And I knew when I planted these shrubs that eventually I didn't want the grass here. That time has come. There's a plan for over here. And I'm like, okay, we're just going to cardboard this. I've still got some compost left, although I still haven't composted some of these beds. And we're going to put compost over it. We're going to be able to plant in it straight away. And I saved all this cardboard. Look at how little is actually covered by this cardboard. I have no more cardboard. It needs to go all the way to where these shrubs end here, plus a little bit on the other side. I haven't quite decided what's going to happen now. So this is, started that yesterday, and look at how pathetic this looks with that cardboard just laying there. So, I don't know, bit of a challenge to be had there. Let's go this way. The woods is looking, woods? This is not the woods. I don't know, the driveway garden. Look at how pretty. Look at how pretty this is looking. This is like peak spring beauty here to me. So the Hacklencloa is coming up, and it's so pretty as it comes up. I mean, just those perfect little, everything is so bright and green and fresh here. And then we've got all our daffodils opening up. This is Jetfire, cute little one. I tend to plant early blooming varieties because early here is not early. I mean, obviously, if these are early blooming varieties, a lot of people are done with their daffodils by far now. This is actually Casada, I think. This is one of those split corona types. I mean, God, they're so pretty. In fact, I think I'm gonna pick a big bunch of these for the neighbors who I think last night was their first night in the new house. I think that's how I'm sure, I mean, it's been a grind for them. They've been working their butts off. Anyway, it's so pretty in here right now. Gosh, and I planted those daffodils, it's 5 years ago. Talk about a project worth doing. Okay, look at the marsh marigolds. So beautiful down the little creek here. Just charming little things. I think those are irises over there. I hope they are. Yes, those are irises. Irises are friend or foe, right? Oh, I see some foes. Here's one of the willows that I did the giant cutback on. You can look at all those sprouts on there. Hey, Darwin, can you not? I'm still waiting to see what this thing is that's popped up all over this garden. It can't really be anything that good. It's got to be an allium. It's got to be an allium that's seeded everywhere. That's what it certainly looks like. Speaking of alliums, the big bold ones in here are so pretty. Ambassador on all these. The big ones are ambassador. I mean, that's just a good looking plant. Let's pop into the vegetable garden. I actually haven't been in here since the last time I was in here was this video last week. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, did the boxwoods take a hit. It'll all be fine, but I think I gotta prune that off. It's so ugly. Usually I wait till I do my real pruning, but it is so unkempt looking. How is the clematis doing here? You guys, it's so hard to tell what's happening because it is just the slowest, coldest spring I can remember in a long time. Well, the garlic certainly, oh, careful, dude. The garlic certainly leapt up since last week. Look at that. Looking good. Onions, looking exactly the same. And honestly, the peas look pretty much exactly the same as when I planted them too. Not a lot happening there either. I guess I don't blame a lot of these plants. More growth though on the Belgian fence here. More leaves coming out. On the Royal Raindrops crab apples here. Those are looking good. Happy to see that. Yeah, I was going to stain the beds. They've been washed. I was going to stain the beds. I ordered a power paint sprayer thing because I thought that'd be easier, and it's not coming till tonight. And I can't hold off on planting some of these things, so I'm just going to have to kind of work around it. What is popping up all in here? That's nothing good. That is not good. It's all weeds. Those have to get scraped out of there. I will top off these flower beds because the sweet peas need to get in. Here is my nemesis, Canada thistle. Canada is not responsible for this. Do not be mad at the Canadians about this. They just got stuck with a bad name for a weed. That, of course, will stay there because I just broke off the root. That is, so I complain about it more often than I should probably, but oh yeah, bird built a nest over the pergola. There's also a nest in the apple tree too, but it doesn't seem to be being used. I just want to check these for some signs of life here because I'm a little, oh yeah, always clematis, nice new shoots there. Plenty moist, I'll tell you that, that's good. Okay, anyway, I've complained about it before, but over here where they cleared out a whole bunch of dead ash trees, it was a terrible situation for them. By the way, someone is coming to pick up, this is the serviceberry tree here. The guy who took it out for us is coming to, he's going to take it away for us too. So he just plunked it over here for the time being. Anyway, over there, Canada thistle just took over, because that's what happens when you clear a piece of land. Something is, you know, something is going to fill in. And in that case, it was Canada thistle. And what is here? Let's play identify the weed. Oh, I can identify that weed right there. Garlic mustard weed. You can kind of tell with the second leaves, because they get sort of that distinctive ridging on them. Good. Well, we'll get to use the hoe later today. Anyway, stay on one subject, Erin. Jeez Louise, sorry guys. Anyway, it has gone to seed and it's everywhere. And I was walking through the woods yesterday. There's Canada thistle everywhere. And it's frustrating. It's a listed invasive. It is legally required. It is a state, county, and town ordinance that you may not allow that specific plant to run wild. And I think they're doing something to manage it now, but it's been running wild for 4 or 5 years now. I saw my neighbor's lawn is full of it, but I'm just worried that it's all over those woods. I mean, it will take over in those woods very, very quickly. So, and I really don't want to spend my time dealing with that in my woods. I would like to, you know, spend my time doing other things, but it's also all over the beds here. I mean, here, just saw that one. I got to come back, manage that. And you're going to say, how do you deal with that, Erin? Well, there's not a lot of good options. Honestly, I pull. They say you shouldn't pull Canada thistle, but I tell you what, it's better than doing nothing. So you're supposed to spray it at a certain time, and I'm probably not going to do that with that. Oh, we're not going to talk about the mold today. We always talk about that. Here's a beautiful, this is, you guys saw me planting this in that video. Us. This is Orium, golden full moon maple, starting to, well, really leafing out. It was starting to leaf out already, but so, I mean, God, the leaves are just coming out. Aren't they cool? All folded up and like all these little pleated leaves. Oh, they're so cool. Boy, it's kind of actually dewy here today. I have to tell you, I was noticing yesterday, we lost a ton of this hillside over the winter. I mean, I didn't realize how much, but you can see down there, that grass, that's something I planted as part of this garden. And that's how far into this it is. It just really got wiped out. I mean, those irises there were planted not on the edge like that. So we had some winter or spring or fall. Boy, did it, you know, right through here. Probably the right thing to do is I don't know. I guess I'm shoring it up with roots at this point. I don't know what else to do. I suppose you could put in a wall and whatever, but I don't want to spend money on rock, and I sure as hell don't want to move it. All the butterbur, Japanese, or Pedicides japonicus, is all over here. I will say I'm noticing it starting to creep into there quite a bit. I'm okay with that, but it is a note to self and a note to you. Keep an eye on it. It can go a little rogue on you. Hey, somebody needs to identify something for me, because it's all through this bed, and at first I thought, is that Coreopsis? It's not Coreopsis. It cannot be anything good. What is, here, this plant? It's probably a weed, you guys. Let me pull one out for you. I'm assuming it's a weed. It definitely spreads by, oh my gosh, it's really in there too. Okay, I broke it off, but it definitely spreads by runners. Has kind of a red stem and these very thin leaves. What is it? Because it's in this bed and I don't know that I've seen it before. So someone tell me what that plant is. It's probably a bad one. So think about it that way. May apples coming up over here. I will probably actually thin some of these because we did plant some stuff in here. This is more, that's garlic mustard weed, if you can see that. If you're trying to identify weeds, that's garlic mustard weed. Oh, here we go, what we've been waiting for. Hylomecan japonica blooming. And the flowers are not fully open because it's early in the morning here, but Oh, I love this plant so much. It's just so sweet. There's another little patch over there. This patch over here, see, I've got little chunks over here. Maybe we'll divide a little chunk of that and keep extending it around a little bit. You do have to manually move this plant around. It won't do it on its own. For playing identify the weed, if you consider it a weed, this is jewelweed. So jewelweed has these very round, it's in the begonia family, these very round cotyledons, and then it gets leaves. Those are its true leaves. And of course you can always identify it because it's got this clear stem in it, which has kind of a, when you squeeze that, has kind of a clear, I don't know, whatever it is, clear kind of jelly type liquid in there, which is apparently, what is it, like, I don't know if it's called, if it's considered an antiseptic. Apparently you can use the juice in the stem of jewelweed on like poison ivy and stuff. Here's the thing with jewelweed. It's actually not a, I mean, I consider it a weed because you can see what it does. It would really take over this whole garden if I didn't manage it. But it is, it has pretty little flowers in it. They're kind of a hummingbird attractor. They're not a terrible plant. It's just that nothing else would grow in this garden if I let it just run wild. So I do remove it in places like this. In fact, there were years where I pulled it out by the armload. The good news is that it's very easy to remove. We have had, the migratory birds have come back. None of them are here for this morning's video, but the grosbeaks and the orioles are here. Those are the only ones. Well, I guess those are the only two you see. Not a ton of grosbeaks yet this year. Maybe more are coming. The orioles, there's been a fair amount of orioles around. Here's green sleeves. We still haven't gotten around to mulching any of the trees we planted yet. That'll happen today. You can see we've got nice buds there that are gonna come out. Oh, here, we had to go in the greenhouse. In fact, we're gonna end in the greenhouse. So I have officially planted all of the dahlias that are going to get potted up are potted up. I just decided that enough was enough. And honestly, at this point, it's kind of the law of diminishing returns when you get later to pot them up, because you kind of at some point have to wait a little bit for them to grow. So, I mean, at this point, I think it makes sense to just hold on to them and plant them when the ground is 60 degrees or 65 degrees and just do straight from tubers, which maybe we'll just do in the future because, again, ridiculous. So top shelf, all dahlias. Bottom shelf or middle shelf, 3/4 dahlias. Bottom shelf, all dahlias except for like 2 pots. It's so dumb. I don't, like I said last week, I don't know why I do this to myself. But we do have a lot of shoots on a lot of them. I think we are going to declare that the Fiona Sunrise Jasmine did not make it. Well, certainly the stems didn't make it. So I have nothing to lose by cutting this back hard. This is what I tried to overwinter in the garage. And it looked promising. There was definitely buds, but this is what happens a lot when I overwinter plants, is that there's enough energy left in them to push out some buds, but not enough energy to actually make anything happen. So these stems are all shot. So we'll cut back all these stems. Maybe we'll get some new growth from them. It was not a good year for overwintering things in the garage, honestly. So this is annual phlox. What is this? Cherry something. These were plugs. Darwin, don't drink that water. Can you hear him drinking out the door? These were plugs. Somebody asked me, where you mentioned plugs a lot, where did you get them from? Most of these things that I'm showing you that I got from plugs here, like these annuals and stuff, and this Rudbeckia triloba, that came from Farmer Bailey, which is really meant for flower farmers, but anyone can buy from it. And I bought these trays. Now, when you buy from Farmer Bailey's, you're buying, the minimum size is a tray of 110. The stuff I just got came in trays of 210. So I'm splitting those trays with other people. Fortunately, Dawn at Seasonal Designs by Dawn is, we've been splitting some of this stuff. And in fact, in the case of this, I just gave her the extras because I'm like, I can't use them all. And that was before they recently launched like a more homeowner fronted thing where you can buy smaller quantities of plugs. And here's the straw flowers are looking good. So unfortunately, I ordered those before they had that program. So Farmer Bailey has a program called, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure if you go to the Farmer Bailey website, you can buy enormous plug trays from them. It's just that it's a minimum of 3, and you're buying a minimum of 100 and whatever plants per tray. Oh, Darwin, that's the door. Oops, we missed the door. Here, you missed the door, man. That happens a lot. This is some of the little verbena. This is, what is this? Sweetheart Kisses. This was a All-America selection winner. Sometimes I let these things bloom so I can see what they're going to look like, even though I don't really want them to bloom yet. This is Vanity Verbena. More stuff is coming out from downstairs as we sort of clear things out here, and as I want to get stuff out of my basement because it's hard to keep track of managing plants in 2 places, honestly. This is a very pretty little Calibrachoa. This is a sample. What is this one called? Aloha Kona Hula Pink for 2026. Look at that. That is a very pretty little guy. I don't know about this petunia. This is Petunia Spun Sugar. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty, but is it different from all these other petunias that are in this world? I don't know. I do really like that Calibrachoa though. Okay, let me turn you around here. All right, that's where we're going to wrap this video up. Hope you guys have a great day and a great week in your garden. Thank you for watching these kind of casual strolls where we just talk about what's happening in the garden. I didn't show you the woods. Let me show you the woods quick. I will close with that. I'm going to say goodbye now. Stay tuned this week for more videos, and thank you always for all your support. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Thanks. All right, let's go check out the woods, and then we'll say goodbye. The woods is I meant to show you this before. The woods is awash in, look at how, just from last week, if you compare last week's video, look at how big the skunk cabbage has gotten. I was walking through the woods yesterday. I tell you what, when you step on skunk cabbage, you get why it's called that. Otherwise, it's fine. But when you step in it, you definitely realize it's called skunk cabbage for a reason. The ferns are all unfurling. These are all ostrich ferns. Past the point of eating most of these, I think. Those are too big. There's some little ones over there still emerging that if I was inclined to eat fiddleheads, which I've mentioned before, I don't find taste that great, even when cooked in butter and garlic, you could still grab some of those little ones. Okay, there's the woods view. There's the view over the lake over there. It's a beautiful day. Not that warm. See you guys.